You know, in life, we are constantly going through things and worrying about this and that. And a lot of times we aren't able to really sit with ourselves, right? And look at ourselves and deal with our traumas. I feel like, especially if you live like in a busy city and everything, like in prison, it makes you slow down. It forces you to really look at things in a certain perspective, right? You know what I mean? Like to like calm yourself almost. Um, did you have to deal like how did you deal with that?
I I think one of the main things that stick out on my on my time there was the fact that you live in this life out there where you kind of control every step you take. Like everything you do is because you want to do it. You're in prison, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, another man's telling you you got to wake up, you got to go brush your teeth. He's telling you when to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Searching you and stuff like that, right? Like,
yeah. So it's like you're in there. It doesn't matter how tough you are. At the end of the day, you're in this system where it's like discipline, discipline all day, every day. You could think you're the man. You could talk all you want. You could fight in prison. You could whatever. But at the end of the day, somebody else is telling you what to do. Another man is telling another man what to do. So it didn't matter if you were the toughest dude. There's this dude that probably never fought in his life, but when he comes in that through those doors, he's telling you what to do. Because if you don't do it, then you're gonna go to the hole and nobody's gonna see you for 60 days. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that stuck out being in there. But for me, to be honest with you, because I was in search of God, and I wanted to change my life. Like I knew I messed up, like what you said with my mother. The fact my mother, you know, uh, kept that word and didn't go see me, it helped me because she told me, you don't belong there. My son don't belong. I'm not going to see my son there. You don't belong there. So things like that help me understand, like, hey, like I'm here. And if I'm going to change out there, I better start now. And that's what I did. And a lot of the guys, it's funny because a lot of people laughed at me in there. People that knew me in the streets, they thought it was a joke that I was following God. But it was the dudes that were there for murder that had the most respect for me. And they would like tell everybody else, like, yo, like, shut up. Like, he's doing what we all should have done. You know what I'm saying? And they be the ones telling me, like, yo, I'm proud of you. So it's crazy how life works when you kind of notice those things about other people.
Yeah, the hardest dudes are telling you that you're doing the right thing, right? Basically.
The hardest dudes are proud that you're doing the right thing, but it's because they lived it. They know they just threw their life away for a decision that they probably regret because, there was dudes in there that shot a dude because his wife was, or his girlfriend was cheating at him with that dude. But now he's in prison and that girl's with another guy and another guy. And then so it's like, it wasn't worth it to them. So, these other dudes that are sitting with me in there and are telling me like, you know, when you get out of here, don't look back. And then the ones that had the big mouth and they thought they were tough and they wanted to go back into the streets, those were the ones telling me like, as soon as you walk out of here, you're gonna forget about God. It happens to everybody. So there was like two sides. The realest people were giving me good advice. The people that was still trying to impress people in the streets were giving me terrible advice.
And your son was what, 3 months old when you went in, or when you started dealing with the case, right?
Yeah, when I started dealing with the case. So imagine the first time he ever came to visit me. He may be like 6 months, and he tells me, oh, maybe he came before that, but it was the first time that he spoke to me. And all he said, where you going? That's all he said. And that was the first words that I heard him say.
At how old?
He was like 6, 7 months. Where you going? Like, he literally told me, where you going?
At 6 or 7 months old?
6, 7 months. He's like, where you going? Like, I don't know if he said, where you going? But that's like, he's telling me, like, where you going? Because he's like, you could see it in him. He said something, but he's like trying to grab me and I was like, damn, my son knows that he's coming out of this place and I'm not going to walk out with him. And I remember that night, bro, I went up there and I just started crying. So I'm like, man, I failed, man. Like I failed my son. You know what I'm saying? I failed my son. So, you know, it was things like that that just changed me, man. It changed me because I just knew like this is not the right life to live. I can't be that. This has to change. You know what I'm saying? And I can't be a victim no more. I have to, I'm a father now. I have to take on responsibility.
Right. It's almost like that moment kind of seems like a divine intervention kind of moment, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like
Bro,
through your son, like, you know, for people that heavily believe in God, like that God was speaking through your son to you. You know what I'm saying?
put it to you this way, bro. Put it to you this way. When I was doing the music, I never drove a car. I had a fear of driving. I had a fear of driving, bro. I always thought I was going to die in a car crash. I always did. So I didn't drive. I would buy a whip, right? I would buy my Cadillacs, whatever, and I would have my boys drive me around anywhere I needed to go, right? Or my girl. And
maybe it was your mom driving away that one time. Remember
that
trying to
one
escape?
time, yo,
That scared you,
bro. This is real. That's real, bro. Definitely. But bro, I remember my son was like 3 years old, like, and I'm going to church at this time, and out of nowhere he goes, "Daddy, you got to get your license." He called it a license, right? And he's in my wife is driving, and he's in the back seat, bro. And he's like, "Dad, you got to get your license." And it was like that was one of those moments where I was like, "Man, God, are you talking through him? Like you're telling me to be a man?" Bro, and that same day I called one of my boys from church, right? And I was like, "Yo, bro, teach me how to drive. My son just put me in blast, man. Like he just put me in my place." And I learned, hey, check this out. I learned how to drive in the parking lot of the church, bro. That's what I learned.
Wow, that's funny, man.
How to drive.